bitch up.
Wagwan, it's your humble host, Big Truck. Hey, yo, right back at you with another one. So, waiting for people to come in. I'm live on YouTube and also live on Facebook. Thank you for joining me for this live discussion. And it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Hold on right quick. Have to adjust my levels, make sure my levels is right. You know, shout out to Dole, making that good orange juice, that good vitamin C that your boy need. Shut up and sweat. So, tonight's discussion, okay? And I am Courtney Michelle. Shout out to that queen. Go to that sister's channel and show her some love. This interview that she did with Miss Shahrazad Ali concerning our women, you know, especially our black women. It's a discussion that, like, back in the 90s, okay, and even back in the 80s, even Miss Shahrazad Ali spoke and she set the tone, and she got criticized for it. But everything that she said back then, look at what's going on now in 2026. So it's an honor, you know, to be in her presence. I'm getting with my management team and trying to connect with her, get in contact with Miss Shahrazad Ali so I can have her on the King's Table show so that me and her can have a real good, wholesome, old school conversation, getting down to the nitty gritty of it all. And also, we just launched a clothing line, Truck Nation Athletics. Please go to the website www.trucknationathletics.com. Check it out. Check out the merch, all of that. Soon to come, the King's Table merchandise. And I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a real good summer. So, without further ado, grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. Let's get this work. Let's go.
And tonight is just, we're going to talk about the women, and we're going to talk about Black women.
Well, that's what I've been talking about for over 30 years. So
yes,
let's talk about it.
Well, let's talk about it. So, let's begin it right there. So it has been over 30 years. We're getting close to 40 years. I know your first book came out around 1989. So the issues that you saw back then and the issues that you see now, do you see a change in Black women?
Well, there are some changes, that's for sure. But change doesn't always mean better. It just means different.
Right.
And so things are different now. Say back in the 90s, as just as a starting point, I think we were more joyful. We had more expectations. We hadn't been so disappointed as to get so cynical that we didn't trust anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think the root of most of our issues is our distrust of our Black men.
So you think we were more trusting then 30, 40 years ago than we are now?
Yes, absolutely.
What?
At that time, the white power structure had not destroyed the Black man's image like he has done over the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so he still was very special in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And we were special in his. Girls went to school. They came out. They had picked ideas for careers. The boys had different ideas of work and jobs. They intended to go to work, many of them. And remembered.
But let me say this, though. Let me highlight this. Relationships back then were on a whole different level than where they are now, today. Back then, if a man saw a woman that he liked, he went after it. It was the way he went after it. You feel me? When a woman saw a man that she liked, she went after it. And there was the way she went after it. Yes, a lot of things have changed, especially when we talk about relationships and we talk about what's going on and where we're at. And we're going to highlight that. The difference between how men move back then, how they move now, how women moved back then to where we are now. So let's continue the feast.
That in the 90s was at the peak of the crack epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were losing each other in that. It was just terrible. And crack was the first drug that the enemy had come up with that separated the mother from the cub.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It made Black women who were strung out on the drugs, we functioned differently about our children. In fact, we didn't even acknowledge most of them.
Right.
And that's part of what we're dealing with now. Our grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to school and trying to mate with the great-grandchildren of the crackheads of the 80s and 90s. So those personalities are out there, and they're doing a lot of strange things. They have uncontrollable anger. They have the bipolar issues. They have hostility, and they're murderers. Yeah. So all of this came through the seed of a lot of those drugs. As I said, I think we'll be dealing with that for generations. And it created the broken family syndrome
Mm-hmm.
between black men and black women. You had some households with the grandparents, the parents, and the children all on drugs, all on crack.
Yeah.
So no good could come out of that. And the people who put it in our communities knew that. They
Mm-hmm.
offered it to our men as an opportunity for a job to work
Yeah.
until they became addicted to the money and addicted to the filth that goes along with drugs and alcohol and prostitution.
Yes,
All of
ma'am.
those things invaded us, and it separated us as black women from our men because it was real hard to try to love them then.
When they were on drugs. Now
Right.
I'm a 80s baby, and I unfortunately the crack epidemic affected me and my father, where he left when I was 2.
It would also be safe to say that having these types of conversations kind of gives you an idea of the reasons why moms and pops back in the 90s, the 80s, even the 70s and 60s moved. It gives you an idea. Oftentimes we fail to look at the root. Where did it all begin? Where did it all start? It didn't just happen. And that's why it's always good that individuals go back into their past. In order to move into your future and move into your destiny, if you have unfinished business with your past, you have to deal with that. You have to face that. Because as you get older, you feel what I'm saying? You wonder why there's problems in your social life, in your love life. Because those are the two common places where your past will show up. Excuse me. How do you deal with that? And then to add insult to injury, the individual's mindset, mentality, the words that come out of their mouth. We have to examine that. Hey, let's continue the feast. For those chiming in on Facebook and YouTube, please put a number 1 in the chat. If you haven't already, please support the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and so forth. Leave your comment, let your soul speak. We're going knee deep in this one. Let's continue.
Yes.
Because of drugs.
Yes.
So I wasn't raised with my dad either. So I've always been a lot of our issues because we were fatherless and because of the crack epidemic. But then now I'm realizing, and you talked about feminism and how that did a toll on the Black community, in particular Black women. So what would you think would be the main cause or one of the main issues? Would you think it would be, or would you say it was the crack epidemic, or is it more feminism, or they both played the vital part of the
I think
breakdown of the family?
all of those, and nature played a part, because whenever a female is forced to fend for herself, get her own food, root for her own protection, whatever it was, it makes us hostile toward the males in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And that hostility has played out in many of our lives. And it has made us sometimes just so upset, so frustrated, and so deeply hurt by whatever values we have made up. It's not saying they were the correct expectations, but we had them. And I think those are the kind of things that have helped to separate us. Also, remember, the 90s was the time when the school system took shop out of the public schools.
Right.
So, where our men were learning automobile.
Also took prayer out of the schools. There was a lot of things that was taken out of the schools. So I remember that. But let's not um, get sidetracked from the point that we're making in this live discussion this evening. Let's continue.
Bill repair. Now you can't hardly find a young brother that can change a tire. They were learning that. They were learning air conditioning, carpentry, refrigeration, welding. Well,
Yeah.
these were jobs that they could look forward to doing even if they just got out of high school.
Mhm.
Well, those jobs were taken away. And at the same time, the school system took away home economics for the girls.
You know, I was about to say that the cooking, the sewing, the
And
how to be a what,
how to keep house.
how to clean,
You
how to
can't
keep
find a
house.
sister that can. In fact, sisters laugh and brag about the fact they can't cook.
Mhm.
And food is what sustains life. And traditionally, the female.
We hear that now. We hear that now. So when you think about what she's saying now, right? You think about what she's saying now. This is the stuff she was talking about years ago. And look where we're at now. Can't say every woman, but you can say, on one hand, there's women out there that love to cook, that was raised in that kitchen with Big Mama. Y'all know. And on the other half, there's some women that refuse to cook. They think cooking is actually slavery. Yep. Fixing a man's plate is actually slavery. And it has nothing to do with any of that. But when you look at the individual's mindset, and this is why it is so important to have a father in a household. So when you have mommy and daddy in a household, you have that balance. In the household, in some of the households that you have today, there's so much imbalance. You have a large number of women saying, I'm mommy and daddy. Well, that's the wrong thing to say. I hope you know that. But again, she's going to cover that. You need mommy and daddy in the home. Children are like tape recorders. Okay? They pick up things. They watch, they listen, they hear. Let's continue. That's why you have to be careful of the things that you do and say around your children.
Females of every household around the world have been in charge of nutrition.
Right.
Even if the man goes out and gets the food, he brings them back to us to prepare it. So that's a very powerful position, since food sustains life and it also determines how long we're going to live, depending on what we eat.
Yes,
So that's a very powerful position they put us in, and then taught us not to cook and don't want to cook, and made it a excuse me, made it a hostile thing, and one of labor instead of one of love.
Right.
And so, we had to deal with that.
Well, let me
used to happen in the during the time that we were also introduced to fake fingernails and wigs. Now, at that time, now we're talking about back in the 80s.
And that was hot in the 80s. People talk about wigs now. Oh, no. You get the big bouffants.
Listen, people used to go to the bank and take out a loan to buy a wig. Because at that time, wigs were only used for the sisters who had alopecia or who had short hair or balding or something.
But you look at it now, they wearing the wigs and the weaves and all of that for style. The long eyelashes and the long fingernails and the kicked on makeup. But you're talking about you want a real man. I mean, think about it. Everything Miss Shahrazad Ali was speaking on back in the 90s and the 80s, we seeing it in 2026. And for a large number of women, it's not a good look. Let's continue.
It wasn't just for a beauty thing, and they weren't tripping, wearing it down to the ankles. All right. But at
Right.
that time, it brought in, and the Asians brought in the fake fingernails. We were having a lot of great black expos, which we no longer have, rarely. And at that time, it was black business people out. And one of the main attractions was the people who were there who knew how to put on the fake fingernails. Okay.
Okay.
So that became big then. And it has come to now where we're just all dealing with almost a self worship. And it has left from our hair to our eyelashes,
Okay.
to our lips, to our breasts, to our eyebrows. Everything has been altered some kind of a way that has affected our representation of us in the world. We have a lot to overcome because black women are the major players in porn all over the world.
And that's why you hear a large number of men saying that they want to be natural. They prefer natural beauty over the BBLs, the breasts done, the lips done, the cheekbones done, the kneecaps and elbows done, the lips done, and so forth. The claw eyelashes, the extra large fingernails, the caked on makeup, the weave. Because some of you too lazy, y'all don't want to do your hair. So you just put on a wig because it's better for you. But think about it though. What would you rather want your man to wake up next to? Someone real or someone fake? You decide.
This is the image that a lot of foreign countries first get of us is in a porn movie. It's an underground thing, but we have starred in more of them than anyone.
Yeah.
And we are proud of it. And Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj, they're not helping our young girls.
No, ma'am.
And I'm not thinking about none of that nonsense about don't knock somebody's hustle. If the hustle is wrong, just like selling drugs, I'm going to speak on it.
And call it out. So this is what I'm learning too. And again, I thank you so much because you've made me realize a lot of things. And with the big word accountability, it seems to scare a lot of us. But with accountability, it's saying what is wrong and doing what is right and even calling it out. But when you do, and I know you've been dealing with this for decades, when you call out wrongdoings, then you are the one that's shamed, not the person that's doing it now, but it's you.
The person who tries to point out the truth of anything is always going to be attacked because we live in such a wicked world.
We live in such a world where individuals have sold their soul to the things of this world and have made money and material things their God. So anytime, I don't care who you are, man or woman, when you speak truth and you put not just putting truth in the atmosphere, but you putting truth out on the table, individuals gonna have a problem with it. Cage is gonna be rattled. Why are you speaking truth? Nobody don't need to hear that. Because look what individuals have done in this world and the things that they have accepted and have yielded to. Yeshua said this in the Torah. There's going to come a time where people are going to believe the lie and reject the truth. People are going to become lovers of themselves. They're going to do unrighteous things to one another, in parentheses, and make excuses for it. This is what we're seeing in real time. So Miss Shahrazad Ali is right on time. Let's continue the feast.
Built on so much wickedness that you are the unique one, any woman that stands up for what's right and tries to establish herself as a dignified human being. Yes. And recognize that you don't have to get in the gutter in order to have girlfriends or a man. It's not a requirement, but it is a direction sometimes we'll take because we like the attention. So it's very, very difficult for us. In the 90s also, our babies had a value. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the community would help take care of the little children sometime. I don't mean that's spite.
I also want to highlight this. One thing she said, most women do things for attention, and that is so true. Even look how far they are willing to go just for attention. The things that they are willing to do just for attention. Let me highlight that.
Thanking them and everything, but I mean, if they saw one gonna go in the street or they would speak to him, they got to know him and things like that. Right. We have lived in our community for many decades about this thing about it takes a village to raise a child. Mm-hmm. Well, the second part of that statement is that the ruin of a nation begins in the home. Mm. And we don't deal with that part of it. We just deal with that it takes a village, trying to shift their responsibility to other people, including the school system, who has miseducated our children the same way they miseducated us. When we found out the truth, we haven't gone back and told our children because we are so busy.
That's one thing that I do give my dad. When we all found out the truth and you found out the truth, he shared the truth. And he embedded that truth in us so that we don't never forget. You're born in this world, but you're not of this world. You're not going to sit up there and just do things and say it's okay. No. You're going to move differently. And I think that's the major problem. Like one of my homeboys right now, K Spade, brother Ken. I love my brother. He welcomed his daughter, but yet the things that he teaches his daughter, hear me clearly. Don't be like everybody else. Be your authentic self. You're talented, you're gifted. You see? He plays an important role in her life. As well as her mother, Miss Denise, plays an important. They both play important roles. You see? So at her age right now, having both parents in the home, she's winning. Those seeds are being planted in her. What to do, what not to do, how to be, how not to be, how to speak, how not to speak, how to move, where to sit, and so forth. She's winning. Just something to highlight. Let's continue. Shout out to my man K Spade and my boy Big Pete. And shout out to my family, my friends. Shout out Island Boy Productions, Truck Nation Athletics. Let's go.
Sitting in the hairdresser for 5 or 6 hours. And it's very difficult. It has been for me, sister. Yeah. Very difficult for me to try to teach salvation to a group of Black women who hate the hair on top of their own head and who thinks that their beauty, their self-esteem is so low. We believe that our beauty requires us to glue somebody else's hair on our head or sew it on our head,
Mm-hmm.
and to pick up an image that has been represented to us as beautiful. And even though we don't ever like to admit it, the only image we've ever had of beauty was the white woman.
Woman.
And we want her hair. We want to look like her. We want the blue contacts. We want everything. We want the big breasts, the butt, whatever it is. We want that because we have such low self-esteem. And it's even worse for our little daughters and granddaughters because we're giving them that same false value that the only way that a Black woman can be beautiful is if she takes things from other people. And we're the most beautiful woman on the earth ever that God created. So the fact that they've convinced us that we need to spend millions and billions of dollars every year to get somebody else's hair to stick on our head in order to be beautiful. You can go to any big meeting, any kind of organizational meeting, and 90% of the women in there got on somebody else's hair on their head.
Right.
And how can you reach people who hate themselves that much, and their little children, 4 and 5 and 6 years old, they're putting fake hair in their head, teaching them that the only way they can be beautiful is if they have some other accoutrement from.
I've even seen little girls with the eyelashes. Your boy Big Truck cannot be making this up. I've seen little girls with the eyelashes. I'm like, really? And with the fingernails, the little Lee fake press on fake nails. Like, really? Grooming them. Getting them while they're young. This is my mini-me. Sad.
Somebody else.
How did we get here?
It's just so painful to see that because for generations, we're going to be dealing with that.
Yeah. Well, how did we get here? How did we get to, and you said something that I thought was very, very powerful, is because I never thought of it that way. It's this self-worship. It's the I'm doing things, the extremities of it all, the hair, the eyelashes, these crazy nails. It's all attention based, and it's attention because I want focal point on me. I'm butt naked on Instagram because I want it on me. It's a self-worship.
Yes.
But we're wanting self-worship, but then are the most insecure. We don't think we're beautiful and we're changing ourselves. How is that even possible that I want to be worshiped, but I want to be worshiped by looking like someone completely different? How does that work?
Because those are the things that we have been taught generationally. We just never had anything physical to make it into. And when the hair came along and the eyelashes and the sisters who have terrorized their own body to try to have the biggest buttock in the world. I mean, we have just been so outlandish, and no other people are doing, no other women, any color, are doing that but us. And we don't.
It's just like I highlighted earlier that when you go on TikTok, right? When you go on TikTok, has it ever dawned on you that Black women on TikTok are the only race that will sit up there and downgrade their own men? Put their own men down. You ain't ish. You ain't this. You ain't that. Story time. Let me just air my business out there for validation, for likes, for views, for attention. More than any other race. We see it. I know y'all see it. Folk, a large number of individuals do not want to have a conversation with the elephant that is in the room. Why you don't want to have a conversation with that elephant that is in the room? Does that elephant got heat on you? Why you don't want to talk to that elephant? That elephant, are you intimidated of that elephant? You'll walk into a room and speak to everybody else but the elephant. Let's continue.
We don't want to accept that it's not just for convenience. You know, I see the sisters out, they patting on their head. They trying to do a lot of things. And I've seen them take that stuff out and they're all bald all the way across.
They got no edge.
Because the chemicals and everything. So, you know, we're in a bad condition. And then we walk around constantly saying, I want to be accepted for who I am. Well, who are we?
Who are you?
And that becomes the question. And we don't want to accept no man any way he is. We immediately start trying to change him. But we want to be accepted in whatever nonsense we have going at the moment. We want.
And when men don't accept them, here come the TikTok videos. Here come the Instagram videos. Here come the shaming tactics. I mean, you're a man. You're supposed to accept me no matter what. Who told you that bald-faced lie? You see? You're not supposed to hold us accountable. We should be able to do what we want to do. Well, you can, technically. I'm just going to remove myself away from you. Because even a man has to say no. Even a man has to pick up his shoulder pads and his helmet and walk on.
To be accepted in that. We developed the distrust of Black men, as I said, in the 90s. Mm-hmm. That started happening because when every value has been taken from a people, once again, it comes back on self. Yes. And so if we're not doing the things that women are traditionally known for doing, if we are not behaving in that way, and if we're not treating men in that way, and if we have pushed so much sex in front of him every day, all day, we think that's the only thing we have to offer, most of us. We think if we don't have that, when actually men will go along with whatever we present. And so since we have pushed so much sex in front of them, now we're mad at them because they keep going for sex.
Right.
And that's what we have taught. That's what we have stood for, and that's how we dress. Our men don't have the discipline because
you cannot get mad at a man for wanting something that you keep presenting. Where they do that at? Oxtails, anyone? You cannot. Let's continue.
Of what has happened to them, and both of us, and our ancestral slave history, our men don't have the discipline to withstand the onslaught of lust and sex that we throw on them. And it also makes them deal with younger girls because of the older and more mature women have shown themselves so much that they're just so used to it, they're not interested in that anymore.
Their bodies ain't the same like it used to be.
None of that is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like one of the things that I've learned when I was married for 14 months. One of the things that I've learned, you know, in my process or my time in the wilderness, I rather say, it took a lot for me to accept. And the things that I had to accept, it was a hard pill to swallow. Accepting the fact that this divorce is happening. Accepting the fact that she liked you, she cared about you, but she wasn't in love with you. The facade, you see, the painted picture in front of family and friends of this love and etc. But when things went left, how quick to throw in a towel, quick to blame shift. And it was something that I had to accept. But then I looked deeper into it. Let's look deeper into it. And this is what I talk about a lot so much, especially when I say if you have unresolved, unfinished business in your past, especially down to the root of your childhood, you need to deal with that because it will show up in your social life and your love life. And you will find yourself self sabotaging, destroying your own friendship, relationship, and marriage. Well, she has family and friends. They're not seeing it. Or maybe they do, but not saying nothing about it because of her status, her position. And this is why I put awareness out there. Yes, there's a large number of broken women out there, but there's also a large number of broken men out there. Hurt men. Men that were treated like trash. But until you understand that, you have to experience that. And now I can honestly say I experienced that. So now I understand the conversations that I have with men and women. Now that my channel is growing and, things are certain doors are opening, having conversations. Yes, it hurts. Yes, you're going to get angry. But when you're done with all of that and you've healed, you have to dive into it and have a time of reflection. All this time, I thought it was me. When in reality, it wasn't. And the name keeps coming up. Narcissist. It's like, well, I be. It's real. It is real. Let's continue.
And so, we have developed the envy and jealousy for each other as Black women.
Yeah.
And sometimes between mother and daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's how serious this has become to get the attention of a man. Now, what do we want to do with the man when we get his attention?
That's what I'm trying to ask.
Get married no more. That's not that popular. Some of us do, but we're kind of against that now. We don't. A lot of Black women I have found don't even want to have children anymore.
I've heard that a lot.
Our birth rate is down. The Latinos, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, everybody's out birthing us because we have been using abortion as birth control, and we have been using birth control, period, and we're not interested in having babies anymore.
Yeah.
It's mostly an accident now, and it's mostly younger women.
Yeah.
But it's become a difficult thing because...
And also, many don't want to realize this or accept this, receive this, but a large number of women of other races are taking a liking to Black men. We're not going to sit up here and act like that's not happening. It is. Food for thought.
After the baby gets about 3 and becomes a person, that we can't just dress him up and make him cute and buy him toys, then we want out, because that's the real work of mothering.
I got 2 questions for you. One, it's about abortion. I am pro-life. Do you think that the overturning of Roe versus Wade is something that is going to be beneficial to Black people in building our community? Or do you think that that was something that maybe the white folks did because they are also declining in population?
Well, they really are. And they're declining not due to birth rate as much as integration. Okay.
They turning brown. They turning brown.
Yeah, everybody is getting mixed with different things now as a result of that. And that's also affected us too.
Yeah.
Because many of us are marrying white men and white women. We've always tried to and wanted to, because we think that it will raise us up in society, especially if we're in the entertainment industry or something. If two black people walk in the ballroom, it's no big thing. It's just two Negroes. But if a Negro come in there with a white woman or a white man, you're gonna get more attention, and everybody that's in that knows that. It's a form of exhibitionism. Yeah, but that's the way we have developed that. But we have been robbed of the ability to plan sanely for our future, and we have been so inundated with sex and sexual ideas and pictures and innuendo, even down to our children's cartoons, which you have to watch the books, the cartoons, and everything. But we've had that so much of that thrown on us.
Even down to the movies. You got to be careful of the types of movies you watch, because there's a lot of satanic, there's a lot of things in the movies that we watch, symbols and signs, language that most don't catch. And it's being done right in front of your face, right on your screen. And they think you're not going to catch it. They think you're not going to see it. That's one thing I always admire about my boy K Spade. Him and Miss Denise, they monitor what their daughter watch and listen to. You ain't gonna be listening to that foolishness. Let's continue to feast. Shout out to my boy Pete and them. Let's get it.
That now, as black women, now this is really deep, we tend to think that good sex means love. And it doesn't.
We do think
it's just another bodily function.
Right.
It doesn't mean love. It just means what it says.
Mm-hmm.
We have taken so many things out of context. It was designed to be attractive and attracting to us for the propagation of our people, of all the people on the earth. Everybody who was born has to come through us. Yeah. Everybody who is born, we have a lot of power, because we can stop them and don't let them be born, or we can have them. We can have one, two, none, whatever. Right. So we're in a very powerful position in regard to the survival of our kind. In every nationality, there's a male and female who look alike, who are designed for each other.
Yeah. Do you think black women know how powerful we are?
No. We think we have some kind of master strength because we're able.
Let's look at it this way. Most black women and black men don't even know their worth. They don't. Because it shows in their character. It shows in the way they move. It shows in the way that they live. What more proof do you need? And there's a handful of black men and black women that do know their worth. They do know who they are and whose they are in the season of their life. Because it shows in the way that they move, in the way that they talk, in the way that they walk, in the way that they live. I'm going to let that marinate. Let's continue to feast.
It looks like sometimes that we're able to do better than our men, but that's because the entire society is built on supporting women, and certainly not the black man. If we are poor, have a baby, or don't have one, whatever, we can get housing, childcare, college money, Medicaid, whatever it is that we need, an apartment. Well, they don't have all of those aspects of support. And so to us, we bought that thing about the black woman is the strong one. No, instead of getting married to him, we got married to the government.
But also, a large number of the black women were sold a dream. And it all started back, you started following something that you had no business following. You had no business following feminism, but you followed it. And look at where following something has got you. short term and long term. Nowhere.
Because they were taking care of us like our man should have been able to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they taught we probably have the only man who really not interested in getting married, because they taught us to use marriage and child support as a weapon against our men, and they don't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do that.
How do we get it back? I'm a proponent of the nuclear family. I'm a proponent of marriage.
Yes.
I'm all for, I'm going to say this, right? Like, when I went through what I went through in 2019, I said, you know what? Never again will I get married. Because it's too easy. It's too easy to just say, you know what? I don't want to deal with it no more. Sign for divorce. Boom, gone. But as I sit and I listen to our elders, see, it was a lot that I had to process, and I'm using myself in this conversation because there's a lot of things that I can identify with so well. So as I sit with my elders and I'm sitting, I'm listening, and I'm gathering information, and I got my pencil and my pad, it's like, okay, I feel like y'all are the coaches and we're going over design plays and I have to pay attention. We watching film because we're looking at where I messed up, where I went wrong. And the number one thing I went wrong is should have did marriage counseling. Because if I would have did marriage counseling first, all this stuff with myself and my ex-wife would have came out on the table. Here's things, we call it midnight secrets. You see? Dark closet secrets. Things individuals don't want you to know about when it comes to them. You see? And learning and sitting back asking questions. When it comes to a marriage, you're going to have some good days and some bad days. You can't give up on each other. I never once gave up. I kept fighting and fighting and fighting down to 2 mild heart attacks, fighting. But then the Most High said, it ain't you. Look who you married. This is what happens when you marry someone that is broken or has a past that they have not dealt with. There's things that friends don't know. You see? But I was able to dive deep because I saw myself. And when you take accountability and you sit back and you look at you, excuse me, I can hear my god brother, Bishop Jarvis Hines, saying, big truck, let's look at it this way. I can hear my spiritual mother, Mama Lakey, Francis Lakey, saying, son, let's look at it this way. Okay. And sometimes the Most High will send certain individuals to you. It's almost like I appoint this person to you, that person to you, that person to you, that person, that person. Each individual that's going to come to you is going to add and pour into what I need you to get, what I need you to understand, what I need you to see.
and my goal is to try to find a resolve. Now, from when you started to now, I unfortunately I see a change, but like you said, change doesn't mean it's good. It's just something different.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm seeing it. I hate to say it, but we're getting worse.
Yeah.
And now it's to the fact that black men don't trust us. They're going overseas. They said they're done with the black woman. Black women are now thinking they can get a white man, and they're done with the community as a whole.
Yeah.
So for one that loves us, loves being black, want us to do great, has a daughter, want her to be with a black man, I want to marry a black man, but the distrust amongst each other.
Yeah. Well,
What how do
we
we
didn't uh we didn't get in this situation in 30 years,
no.
and we're not going to get out of it in 30. It took us over 400, 555 years exactly. It might
Mhm.
take us that long to get back on the other side.
Yeah.
But we can start as black women by setting the example, by teaching our children to be themselves and not submit to other people's ideas and fashions. You can't wait until your daughter gets 14 to say, don't wear booty shorts.
Mhm.
You got to start teaching modesty when that child is little, and respect to the boy
Yeah.
when he's little. We talk all the time. I hear the sisters tell me, I'm his mother and his father. No,
No,
we're
you're
not.
not.
You're not the mother and the father.
And I'm glad she said that because I hear that. First thing coming to my mind is, how's that been working for you? You notice, you notice women that say that, they ain't no man in the house. Okay.
We listen. We
Okay.
cannot raise a boy in the proper way he should be raised. He'd be better sitting on the curb with a drunk than listening to that nonsense we talk at home about men. Okay, we teach them to hate the man they got to become. It's
Mm.
ridiculous. And so when we look at the condition of our girls, and they like us, we know we don't have no great superior wisdom about child rearing because of the condition that most of them are in.
Ooh.
And the men talk about it. They tell me about it.
Yeah.
What a lonely woman won't do, we do anything. We'll do anything anywhere.
Good point. Good point. Good point. You know, I get a few men and a few women that ask me questions, and the questions that they ask me, we end up having a full blown discussion about it, and it's always good to hear. It's always good to listen on why an individual says the things that they say and why they stand 10 toes down on it. Whether it's right or wrong, good or bad, when you sit back and you listen, you see? And that's the thing, being able to listen to each other. If I can listen to your heartbeat and feel your heartbeat, I want to listen to what comes out of your mouth. Last time that I checked, it's about teamwork. See, you have a large number of individuals put on a facade until reality comes and that mask starts to slip and fall. And once that mask slips and fall all the way off, then you begin to see how a person really feel about you.
And that is so frustrating. Now, of course, I'm not talking in absolutes. I'm not saying
Yeah, and I know the
million
people
of
would
us.
say not all women. We get, yeah, I understand. So I totally
Yeah.
understand that.
Well, no,
But
it's
some
not
people
all.
don't. Some people don't.
However, if we are
I'll,
put into a certain
I'll take care of
situation,
them.
we'll
Well, this
tend to act the same.
so let
But
me. Well, this is the thing that I think it's just so odd that we do all this stuff for attention and
yes,
self worship and trying to get men and trying to, but then we'll go back and say we don't need them. But then go back and then put them on child support and need their money.
yeah.
Why are we so confused?
Well,
Do black women understand that we do need the black man?
Well, we need him not just to keep our
Before she answers, you have to be careful about who you listen to. You have to be careful of where you get your advice from. Okay? If you have individuals that are angry, bitter, broken, those are the types of individuals you probably would not want to get advice from. And they're not going to give you the best advice. They're going to speak from an emotional place. Okay? If you want that good, for example, give you an example. I want to date women. I want to know about women, the ins and the outs. So who am I going to ask? A woman. Okay. What type of woman? More than likely, it's going to be my elder. Why? Because she's been here before. She's seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I know the type of advice that she's going to give me is going to come from a place. It's going to come from a place of love. It's going to come from a place of teaching. Especially if she made changes throughout her life. The best advice is from a couple. Why? You get to hear the male's standpoint and the woman's standpoint, the male's input and the woman's input. I'm just saying, ladies, you date men, you want to know about men, ask a man, okay, what type of man? What type of advice are you willing to receive from a man? And this is where you use your ear gate and listen. Just because it sounds good don't mean that it is good.
nation going.
Yeah.
Because we bad, but we can't create no baby by ourselves. So we do need them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't just need him for that. Not just to survive. We need him to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because that's a different thing
Yes, it is.
than just, having somebody to impregnate us to keep the race going.
Right.
We need his arms around us. You remember they did a study about 50 years ago where they had some babies and they took the babies and they didn't touch them. They just would change their diaper, prop their bottle. They didn't hug them, embrace them, soothe them, or anything. Well, the babies all grew up some kind of retardation. Well, that works the same with us. So it's not saying that we just need them, but it's certainly much better to have one of them, because to have a man's arms around you and to tell you it's going to be okay.
And just to whisper sweet nothings in your ear. Hey, baby, Big Daddy said everything's going to be okay. Rest your head on my chest. Let me hold you. You see, those things, I'm not afraid to say it. I'll say it. I need me a woman. But this is the type of woman I need versus the type of woman I don't need. There lies the difference. Because anybody will lie to themselves will lie to you. And you have to be honest, open, and clear about who you are and what you need from a woman in a relationship. I made that very clear to the individual that I married. You see? But now, knowing what I know now and being in the position that I am now, I'm able to share these experiences and help someone, because you don't never know what the next man or woman is going through, about to go through, in the middle of it, coming out of it. And they hear your testimony, and they apply your testimony to their situation, and it gives them hope. That's why I started this channel. And when I started this channel, I did not expect for it to be where it is today. But I was consistent. I said, I'm going to share my testimony. I'm going to get this word out. And in the comments, the emails, say, I experienced that same thing you went through. How did you get out of it? How did you overcome it? And I share. I even had some women email me saying they just went through that exact same thing. They had that thing happen to them. How did it make you feel? What should I do? But best advice, seek therapy. Because that's exactly what I did. I went and I got therapy. Alone. It's supposed to be for couples. But I ended up doing 13 sessions alone. But you know what? The things that I've learned and how it taught me how to deal with my past, how to face it. Best advice ever. So, from one to another.
And to love something on him more than his penis, because that's the only time we get along with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After that, we back in hell.
Yeah.
Okay? And so we have to recognize that we have a greater value than that. And people recognize your value if you function like you have one. But if we function like we don't have any value for our environment and ourselves, then that's how we get treated.
Yeah.
Especially the predators that are out here today. You know, they have a sense for all of these different things. And we have young girls out here. We used to talk about how the little boys were mimicking the older men on the block, and the boys, teenagers on the block selling drugs. Well, what would our girls emulate from us? What would they mimic from us? Wearing fake hair,
right,
getting fingernails, getting your nose or something pierced, getting fake breasts, wearing the tightest clothes you can so you can get the touch, get the attention of a man, and dancing in the most vulgar way possible. Nobody but us could take something so beautiful and sway into music and turn it into something vulgar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got little girls in school who can't read, who can't tie their shoes, but they can do the TikTok dance. See? So we're off post. And I'm not saying that we don't have more Black women who are graduating out of college and getting PhDs. All of that's just designed to go beg the white people for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the people that are repressing the man that we could have had.
Yeah.
And a lot of these brothers are functioning like females. They're arguing like women because that's all they've been around all their life.
Is when they mama.
And now we know where simp came from. Some of these lollipop soy boy simp men. Because they've been raised around their mama. No male guidance. No masculine male guidance. So most want to turn away from this type of conversation because this type of conversation hits home, and it's some real truth for your Bluetooth, for real. But it's an eye opener at the same time because it lets you know about the things that are going on around you, people's behavior around you. We having this discussion and the same things that we're talking about in this discussion, you seeing it when you walk outside your home. You seeing it at the workplace. You seeing it at the mall. You seeing it at the grocery store. You seeing it.
And acting like they mama.
She's still mad because the father of that child, you know, they didn't get along. And we still think that if you have a baby by a man, it'll tie him to us. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
If he's too immature to handle that, it just runs him away. You're not going to hold him by getting pregnant and having a baby.
No, I heard that's the easiest way to lose them. Get
And
pregnant. That trying to keep them now.
we have so much of the jealousy going, but we don't have that much jealousy going, because that's why some brothers have 8 and 10, 15, 20 children, because each one of them sisters think that they're going to be different and be special, and so they get pregnant again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's very frustrating. But my books are available on Amazon and eBay, and I really, really wish all Black women read The Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman.
Absolutely, I have
read
it.
that one first.
Well, I'm gonna put the links to your eBay and the link on this video, and I'm gonna post it on my Instagram so they can get it. I think it's an amazing. I mean, it's.
And I'm gonna do it as well. I'm gonna post it to my channel and post it to my Instagram and my TikTok as well, so that many can go support Miss Shahrazad Ali, purchase her book, read her book. It would give you a different understanding. You have the audio version of it. You know, I was able to cop a copy of that book, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a good read.
It's just a reference that breaks us down and tells us a little bit about ourselves, that not like we don't know, we just don't like to hear it.
We don't think anybody else knows. No, we don't think nobody else can see us.
Yeah.
We think because we have so many layers of fake personality and so forth in front of us, we think we're not seen. But we see each other. Yeah.
Another race of women see Black women as well. They sitting back. They observing and reporting. And the things that they see when they observe and report, because of your behavior, they turn around and do the total opposite. And just like Roxanne Shante said, I'll take your man.
We're able to do that. We have to get our confidence back. If we want a better man, we got to be a better woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
facts.
It doesn't. If you're around semi-quality men, it doesn't run them away because you have your clothes on and not showing your breasts.
It does not.
It really doesn't. And as I said, they have set up so many situations where we have lost trust from each other. Our men are overweight. We have women overweight. We have convinced them that being overweight look good.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, they'll go with whatever we present them with to be with us.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we decide how it's going to be, they'll decide, I like that.
Yeah.
But we are leading them in the wrong direction, and our children. All of this is, as I said, because we want to have the attention and a few moments of pleasure. And you can't build a nation or a life out of just that. We have to have more values and standards. And a lot of times we don't want to change and do different things because we say, oh, that's old school. No, that's the school where things worked and where we had stable relationships. Mm-hmm. The children had their fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct.
Back then, relationships was fun. Back in the 90s, men didn't have a problem with approaching women. Women didn't have a problem with approaching men. Hell, you had a large number of women back then that took men out on dates. They didn't care. They just wanted to spend time with that person. It wasn't transactional. Shoot, the place to go was norms. The place to go, it was simple. The things to do, it was simple. When was the last time you went out for ice cream? When was the last time you went to Yogurtland? When was the last time you went to Baskin Robbins and shared a banana split? When was the last time you went to that hole in the wall restaurant and y'all had a dandy of a good time. When was the last time you fixed a man a meal, a plate, and you had him come over for a candlelight dinner? Or if you switched the goalposts, that man did the same. He fixed a woman a plate, invited her over for a candlelight dinner, and they had a good dinner. And then chilled with some wine, with a fireplace, with some nice soft music in the background, and just enjoyed the time spent together. That's what we need to get back to. Get out of this whole stuff that we see in here because it's fake.
That's the one we want to bring back because those principles still work.
Yes.
There are universal principles that govern everything. And there are certain ones about interaction between a male and a female in a relationship that still work. We don't have to come up with a new idea. We haven't corrected or practiced the old idea.
Yeah.
So we have work to do. And that doesn't mean go down and be a doormat for some man who is not qualified to have a good woman. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
We have got to get this desperation under control.
Why do we hate the word submission?
Well, because to us, that means that somebody going to tell us what to do. Even if we don't know what to do. We don't want nobody to tell us.
Do you see the contradictions that we keep living as Black women? We want you, but we say we don't need you.
Right.
We need a leader, but we don't want you to tell us what to do, even though we don't know what to.
No.
It's just all contradictions that I'm just seeing. And then when you say the truth, then you public enemy number one.
Well, we are living at the end of this civilization one way or the other. And so everything will be manifested. We're living in the time of the manifestation of the defect.
Yeah.
And all of the issues that we have dealt with that have been wrong are going to be revealed. The people, the activities, whatever it is, because a lot of what
they already being revealed. Certain individuals are being revealed already. And it's being made known that when you sell your soul to the things of this world and you make material things and money your God, the devil will come to collect. The devil don't care how good you look, how big your booty is, how good you smell. When the devil comes to collect, he comes to collect, and he gets what he wants. What?
And I know a bunch of different women, of course, and men, coast to coast. And I hate to think that the majority of them are not happy.
No.
But you have to create some activity for yourself, get involved, do the work, and function, and hope for the best, because we don't have anything else other than that. And let me mention this one last thing, Courtney, because this part is really important.
Okay.
We're going to have to get over this thing about not wanting our man to have no other woman.
Now, look.
Yeah.
You said this is what you said. What makes a good Black woman? You said it was 7 attributes. Okay. You said a Black woman that is disciplined. You said a Black woman that's intelligent, a Black woman that's cheerful. You said a Black woman that has self-respect. You said a Black woman that is clean, that, cleanliness. You said a Black woman that is courteous. And then you said a Black woman that loves. And that means not to have.
That's non-possessive.
Non-possessive love. That's what you said.
Now let me explain why.
Yeah, that's the one I struggle with. Now I'm with all the 6.
Well,
but Jesus.
Let me explain to you.
Okay.
Let me explain something to you. There's been no woman on the earth who ever had a man to herself all the time.
Yeah.
We've not had a prophet. We've not had an ancestor. There's no man. Now, I don't like that. I'm like, any other woman because we've been taught a different idea. I wouldn't want
monogamy.
that, yeah, well,
One-on-one.
well, we haven't been able to do that either. We haven't been successful.
That's true.
So anyway, if we check in our family trees, there ain't been no woman. That's our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, our great-great-grand, whoever, who hasn't been through that kind of ordeal with her man.
Yeah.
Okay? It's more women than men. We're more desperate than men. We're more bold than men. And so we're going to be offering ourselves to different men. It don't matter whether he married or wearing a priesthood,
And we see that. How far a large number of women are willing to go to get a man's attention. That's why they come with the BBLs, the breast implants, the long fingernails, the eyelashes, the makeup, all of this stuff here. It's all for attention for a man. And we have to look at that. We have to really take in what Miss Shahrazad Ali is saying in this moment and apply it to what we see in real time. And as we see this in real time, and a large number of men do, if something doesn't serve you, if something is not healthy for you, then pick up your shoulder pads and your helmet and walk on.
He's a man. We're going to be trying to get with it if we're attracted to him, okay? And so based on that reality, all of us have been through the same thing. So there's no need to be embarrassed. There's no need to be ashamed. You just have to try to get through it if you can.
Yeah.
And if you can get up enough security in the love that your man has for you to be able to handle that. Now, let me tell you something. We are not jealous because he might have dinner with her. We're not jealous because they go to the movie or on vacation. We're jealous because he's going to have sex with her too. And all of us want to think that our sex is so special that there's no way possible he could ever
want somebody else.
And it has nothing to do with us. We're talking about the nature of the man, not of the woman. It has nothing to do with us. When he say, but baby, it didn't have nothing to do with you, he mean that. That's really the truth.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not that we have to be less than anything. And that's the other thing that we think. It means that I'm short in something. I'm less. If I did this, I did that. It wouldn't matter what you did. If you run around the block 3 times, stand on your head and walk across the ceiling, it has nothing to do with whether his decision or his nature is. And I'm not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about no Negro going out every weekend to the club to go sleep with some woman. I'm not talking about that. I mean men who seriously. And there are men out here like this all across the country.
Yeah.
Who have loved 2 women 20, 30, 40 years. And the women still can't speak on the street. They both got children. Y'all know how that is.
Yeah, they had the side family go over there on the weekend. Mom and them told me all about that back in the day. Yeah, they did.
So I'm saying we need to stop acting like that don't exist. The actual fact is, and I'm not advocating any of this, polygamy was created for women to make sure that every woman had a father for her children. Every woman had food and protection. Okay? So if you have to share him with that time, and the actual fact is, none of us want to be bothered with no man 24/7 because we're busy. We got things to do. But we just want to make sure he ain't with nobody else doing that.
That's right. That's right. You already said that a lot.
I mean, I would have never got nothing done if that had been my principle. And I had a lot to do that I was trying to do in my own creativity and stuff. But when we find out if that happens, not gonna die. You don't have to burn his clothes. Yeah,
you're right.
No bleach in his car seats. I mean, it's a lot of things, that women do because we get angry about that. That's the deal breaker.
Yeah.
And I think that we are taking it too far out of context. I know it is designed for propagation of our race, but however, I've been talking with the young girls, and they talking about getting slapped and choked,
Mm.
beat, and everything, and they calling that sex.
Well, you know, it's a generation into a little something different.
Yeah, it is. As I said, remember now where a lot of them have come from.
That's
What
true.
came through the seed. Okay,
Yeah.
it's genetic. A lot of it at this point. It's gonna take a long time to weed a lot of that out,
Yeah.
but we have to do what we have to do. Part of that is to smile. Part of that is to shut our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Mm-hmm.
somebody, let him talk. It may not make sense to us, but we ain't no man. I know the foolishness we talk don't make no sense to them,
Bunch of babble.
you know.
Mhm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
we could, if we could stop fussing, stop teaching him to fuss back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I tell brothers all the time, you don't have to react to that.
Yeah.
You're not no woman. You ain't got to fuss because can't nobody out fuss us.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he's not gonna win.
And that's why I tell men, stop going back and forth. Stop. You ain't got to be rude. You ain't got to be disrespectful. Just pick up your shoulder pads and your helmet and walk. Silence will kill anything loud. And we're starting to see men, hey, you know what? This doesn't serve me. I'm going to walk away. Have a good night. Good evening, or after, whatever the case may be. Because all this going back and forth with an individual, nothing gets done. And it's a headache.
But those are just, I'm just sharing with you some things that over the years that I have learned about what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you get a man and if he never see who you really are, if all he see is somebody's hair and makeup and eyebrows, he can run into you on the street and not even recognize you.
You come in the house, he think he getting a burglar. Who is this? This is me, baby. No, it ain't. This is not the woman I fell in love with.
So
I like how she highlighted that. Because the things that I saw in my marriage, the things that I'm quite sure there was some red flags on me too. But nobody's perfect. But you got to be willing to look into things instead of looking at things. It's like, okay, now I see how you really move. When there's chaos and things are chaotic, now I see how you really move. So everything that you've been preaching and talking to other individuals about your character, no, I saw your real character. These people never saw your real character. So I get it. Let's continue.
what happens is that if we want a better man and a better daughter, then we have to make it. We have to build it, not just birth it. We have to spend that time.
Yeah.
The further away a woman works from home, the more the family suffers. And everybody has to work. We need to curb our lifestyles on thinking we have to have the most expensive everything, every shoe, every outfit. We only doing that because we ain't got nothing else to do. A busy woman don't have time for fingernails 3 inches long. Not if she's trying to get something done.
Not if she's cleaning
and build a new nation. And we need a new nation. There's not much repair for this.
Well, that was going to be my final question that I had for you. Building a new nation. What does that look like? Because a lot of people say, well, building a new nation means I'm going to go overseas and build it with another woman, meaning of a different culture.
Yeah. Well, we have been quit before. We've been quit before and we have quit them before.
Yeah.
But nature wins out. We come back together ultimately. Again, it was all designed like that too. And being able to get past things that happen.
I'm letting her talk a little bit longer than usual because I really want y'all to get it. I really want y'all to have a real understanding of where she's going with her talking points and why she's saying what she's saying. But also put yourself in this position. Everything that she's saying, you have heard it, whether if it's a family member or friend with this behavior, or an ex, or you just hear individuals talking while you going on your day-to-day routine. Somehow, some way, what she's saying, what she's talking about, you've seen those behaviors within a large number of Black women. Let's continue.
And not throw it up a month later and start a whole new argument with it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean we're taking nothing off of somebody. It just means that this is the life in America. We live in a hostile environment. And every time our man leaves the door, our brother, our father, whomever, we don't know if we'll ever see him again. Because there's an enemy out there, an open enemy, who wants to kill them, snuff out his seed, and destroy his woman.
Yeah.
You know, I advise every Black couple that's trying to get together to sit down and discuss and find out if that person, that man or woman that you're trying to deal with is intellectually compatible with your understanding of Blackness.
Without expensive dates and things being so transactional. No, just two adults having an adult conversation. That's it, that's all. Let's continue. She's almost done, and then I'm going to bring some things home, and we out.
See?
I never heard that one.
Yeah, well, I'm giving it to y'all tonight.
I appreciate you.
You want to find out if that person is willing to understand that a lot of our behaviors are remnants from our ancestral slave history. And I have that one book, Are You Still a Slave? Which is a test book, a couple of tests in there to help you take a test to determine how much of a slave are you still acting like even without a slave master.
And also, what was your childhood like? What was done to you? What was said? You see, et cetera, your environment. Because all these things play a factor. You know, what took place in your childhood? You see, what was said? What did you hear? Did you get help? If you didn't get help, now we see why you behave the way you behave as an adult. As you get older, it gets worse. A large number of individuals will give you this fake story that they rely on spiritual healing instead of going to get counseling. Narcissism is real. And I'm telling you, it's real. A person refusing to deal with their past and look at themselves, but they look at everybody else. They got a word for everybody else. But as soon as everybody else has a word for that person, they don't like it. They curve answering questions. Their body language and facial micros paints the picture of everything. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those things are designed, a lot of those ideas and habits and comments are designed to break us up. So we need to talk about, listen, now you know this whole society gonna be against us. We're gonna try to make it work. Now you have to be a little vulnerable to do that. And all of us got some kind of front set up that we think we have to pretend we got so that somebody else that we don't even know usually will think we cool. The nonsense that we have been fed, the foolishness that we have entertained daily instead of trying to do something for ourselves, which is the first work would be to improving our home.
Yeah.
You know, instead of all of this self-aggrandizement of everybody got to look a certain way. As I said, what kind of money are we talking about? If I go into an auditorium and 90% of the women in there got on somebody else's hair.
It's a
Now, you talking the
multi-billion-dollar
glue,
company.
you talking the lace, all them different things. Different white people and Asians own them companies. There's no money for us in that.
But they know who to target. They know who gonna buy it. They know the black woman gonna buy it. So they're gonna put the beauty supply stores in the hood. They're gonna put the products in the hood because they know who gonna buy that. And it's a proven fact. You're not looking good for yourself. You're looking good so that you can catch your man attention. Some, they just like attention. They get off on that. Let's continue.
Except actually doing the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we give away our fortune. We give away our man by trying to be more man than we think he is. We have to get our femininity back and start acting more soft, more gentle. We have to put some clothes back on so that any old straight man don't think he's qualified to come up and approach us. All of that is based on how you carry yourself.
Yeah, our image.
Yeah. And we have one to repair, as I said, worldwide. We have young women. You know, I say all the time, if you go to the rescue home to get a dog, you got to fill out all these papers. How you going to feed the dog? Where you going to get the food from? Where's the dog going to sleep? When you going to take the dog to get his shots? How you going to discipline the dog? You have to do all of that before they hand you a dog and trust you with an animal. And we have mothers, young women and older women that go to the hospital and have a baby, and they just hand you the baby and you go home.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start back having parenting classes. You know, these churches have really disappointed me. I don't have any confidence in what they're in there talking about. Because
heck yeah. A lot of them want your money. A lot of them want to sleep with you. A lot of them will lie to you. Sell you a dream. When they have all these conferences talking about you're going to come to the conference and leave a new you. No, you go to the conference, you leave looking worse. But they got your money.
Right.
It's good to have a pantry, but it's better to have some mother in there, an older sister that can teach these young girls about how to have self-control in raising their child.
Yeah.
I want to thank each and every one of y'all for tapping in tonight and joining me for this discussion. Hey, take that with you. It's a lot to take in. However, when you sit back and you look at the gist of it all, it makes sense, right? Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your boy, Big Truck. Stay tuned for the next show. I'm gone. One.